Hello, 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 creatives. How are we? Hello, welcome. Um, as usual, and as I've been expressing to you on the emails to remind you, my world has been frazzled and upside down and chaotic and exciting and um, a lot. um, so I want to start. I keep forgetting to do this, but I wanted to start with just three quick breaths, three deep breaths. They don't need to be quick. Um, as you know and can hear, I play frequency music when I'm here with you. I don't always play frequency music when I create, but it is something I really enjoy bringing to this space, especially when I'm really doing it without an agenda. Um, you can just type in whatever search engine you use for music, whatever source you use for music. I use Spotify, and just type in, honestly, just frequency. If you want to pick a certain number or say high frequency, usually like in the upper hundreds, 400s, 500s, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of science behind it. You can look it up. This is, it looks like 528, which is a frequency for positive energy. So do with it what you want, but we'll take three deep breaths and then I'll get into what we're going to do, which has a little bit of an agenda today because I did want to get back into these from last week, but I also have my whole kit right here, and I have what I picked up and pulled out of it for a little boat adventure, and so we'll go through all of that and put it back. So join me for three deep breaths. In through the nose is the important part. You can go out through your mouth, you can go out through your nose, you can have your tongue wherever you want. There are people that will tell you that you should press it to the roof of your mouth or the back of your teeth. You do you. For me, the important part is to try to go in through your nose. If you're stuffed up and you can't get through your nose, I understand. That's fine. But let's go in through the nose for three deep breaths. Ready? Okay. Feels good to just ground into this and to be here and to show up um, and to spend the next 40 minutes or so with you feels like such a gift. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, rather, for doing this for yourself. So last week we did two watercolors. There's a lot that I learned from last week's project. I think that using the big paper was advantageous and not where I needed to go with this. It made me feel a little bit rushed because there was so much space to cover and I wasn't used to that because we've been working on small pieces of paper so frequently. I learned the tape down lesson. As you can see, if you remember, we did this first and I was like, ooh, I should have taped this down. And so the next piece of paper I taped down. We were using the same concept two different ways. This one I created a pattern out of some cardboard out of the trash and copied it in different ways three different times. And then I continued to add layers to my painting. We were using watercolors. This one, I was also using the layering concept, but I was trying to use it as backlighting for these jack-o'-lanterns. It turned out cool. I love this. I think it's super cool. I think I was rushed. I was trying to get a lot done in a very small amount of time. And so when that's the case, let's work on smaller pieces of paper. How about we remind each other that? Because I didn't really actually succeed in what I was trying to do. What I should have done is this orange that I brought in over all of the pumpkins. It would have gone all over all of the pumpkins, but I should have gone into these shade areas that I created and then done another layer of orange. So I could have like worked that process a little bit deeper and gotten more depth out of this. Does that make sense? This pumpkin or this pumpkin needs to be, my depth is off on this. There's also room for some shadows, but the cool thing, and this is what we're going to do today, is that I can just go back into this. It's dry, it's not flat. I'm going to continue on with the experiment of drawing on rippled paper. See how it's, I mean, it's not flat. This one is flatter. There's still a little bit of a bubble to it. If you recall, I remember to do this right when like I started getting it wet and I was like, oh, wait, we should tape this one down. So I'm going to continue on with the experiment of one undone and one done. If you don't have these pieces of paper already completed, just pull out 2 pieces of paper. If you have some pieces of paper that are what we're going to do right here is going to work on top of anything. So this is just kind of some of our last week's, previous weeks. We can play on this one. Actually, these look like fun. I might, since I'm going to get, yeah, I might even just pull out some of these things also. See where they take me. So just pull out something, okay? Something that, if you have something that already has stuff on it, let's pull that stuff out. If you don't have anything that has stuff on it, that's fine too. We're gonna wet watercolors again, and you can start some of these things. I have a feeling you already have stuff somewhere sitting around. So pull something out that has color on it already. Let's wet our watercolors. I like, just to show you guys what I just did. I pulled out my watercolor brushes and my watercolor palette that I normally have in my box. I had gone on a boat ride the other day and I thought that maybe I'd want to sketch. I didn't. But I brought along my mixed media paper, and I have this other little journal that's like a nicer paper journal that I use to do things like while I'm traveling. And I try and keep like better notes about what it was and when it was or whatever. I like having something that's like travel size. I know I never gave you that in our shoebox, and I know that Barbara never showed up this week or this last month. I'm thinking about making those videos too, so let me know what you think about that. Any excuse to dress up. If you run across something like this, a little notebook of sorts that has a bit of a nicer paper in it, I recommend you get yourself something like that. I also noticed in a lot of the people that I follow, they have the kind that are bound, like with thread, and they use the whole thing as their composition. And I like that concept too. So I think the next one I get to do this. I use them one at a time like this. And then I make note of whatever it was. So this was a really cool lily pad situation in Wisconsin 2 years ago. So you can tell that I don't fill this very quickly. This is just kind of the one I take with me out and about. So, and look there, let my girls play with it. Yeah, consider getting yourself something like that. And then this bag is what I was getting to, is it's not technically waterproof. I don't think they don't tout it as waterproof, but because I think that, I mean, it's still just sewn. But I do like this, especially for boat trips, or if you're going out into the wilderness anywhere where you might be sitting outside where it sprinkles and it rains or something like that. This is just a nice little bag. And I've linked these. I think I linked them in, but maybe not. I'll have to do that. Just another thing. All right, let's get to painting. I'm gonna get out these and spray them. And I just got some fresh water. I'm gonna go ahead and just, no, I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and start with a clean slate, but I just decided no, I'm not going to. I like using what's already there. Okay. Really, I think I'm just gonna maybe do something with those two. And these two. Start here. I always like getting out my oil pastels. And I just got the urge to play with this and water. So I'm actually gonna skip the oil pastels. Let's experiment. Let's experiment. And let's see. Greens. I like these greens, and I'm gonna bring purple and brown. I'll just get all of these out. So I'm getting out these, which are new. These weren't in your shoebox studio. So if you're just working off of that, these are art sticks. These are just a generic knockoff brand I found at like Home Goods or Tuesday Morning, I think is where I found it. I got that and this one, this little watercolor palette. So just keep an eye, you'll see that stuff around. But art sticks, these are actually kids paint. They're tempera paint, so they don't, they're washable and they just don't get everywhere. It's a nice, easy thing, especially when you have kids around, but it's fun as an adult. I like these. So I'm getting those out, and my pastels. I've been seeing a lot of people do like really mixing things together and kind of going over stuff. And I think I kind of want to take this in a super abstract way. I also have these that are just begging to be abstract too. So I think I might go over with some stuff and just kind of play with texture, but also bring in some detail in this, maybe bring in my pen and go around these edges. I don't love my, I mean, I think it works. Maybe just bring in some more orange on these pumpkins. Try and fix this depth situation that I did. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to fix that, but maybe some more stuff back in these detail or more in the foreground. I don't know. I'm just going to start playing. I'm going to loosen up with putting some of this on here, just feeling the texture. Why is that so shaky? It shouldn't be so shaky. Feeling the texture of the paper. This is, you'll see you're creating a dust. I'm just letting my hand go. I really, this is, I'm succumbing to abstract with these pieces that are from a couple weeks ago. This is acrylic paint. It's acrylic craft paint. I stocked my shoebox full of craft paint when I went on vacation. And I'm gonna keep it that way for the time being. This was really fun. If you remember, we okay, so I just created a bunch of dust over here, and I'm gonna drive my finger through it, and just feeling it out. Some people really don't like charcoal or the feeling of pastel or charcoal on paper. That noise doesn't work for them. If that's the case, sorry. Go to next week for last week's. Mute me. When I see, this is the way I love to use pastel, is on the tip. And I love to make these kind of squiggly. I love to twirl it around and let it do its own, like the the way that it like snaps through my fingers. I love the spontaneity of that, especially when I'm trying to loosen up. And I get a kick out of how different it is when I look through. I have to like look through, and this is why I make this kind of weird, like I'm looking under my light phone, which is what you're seeing here. But I could also, it's a different perspective shift when I look through my phone or through here, and I don't try and look at the actual paper. I look at me instead of the paper. But I am looking at the paper, and it's like, I don't know, I'm just letting my hand kind of do things. I really like the way the yellow is popping on top of the blue. And I like the brightness of the yellow, the way it's standing out. So back to the side of it. And so I said that I was interested in what this is going to do with water. And I don't know where I've seen this, but I'm going to get my small watercolor brush, and I'm just going to put water on it, and I'm going to see what happens when I apply water to my pastel here. So I'm applying water to my pastels that are on top of dried acrylic, just water. It kind of, yeah, it's cool because it like creates a new definition. It'll be interesting how it dries. I wonder what will happen when I use, ooh, I'm dragging it through the dusty side. It's creating like a reverse effect. This could be neat in like a landscape situation, putting in or trees into like a sky. What is that? So here we are exploring techniques and stumbling upon techniques. I like this, being able to take, so I've got the smeared, the more traditional style. I'm gonna do this again. right here on this piece of paper. This orange. Bring in here. So I'm just going to put some of this in here. Ooh. I'm going to block in. Ooh, this is going to be cool. I'm going to make a little landscape out of this. So but it's a sunset landscape. So I wonder what I should do first. Now I think and so I just create, and so now I think I'm going to go like this. And create myself a new horizon line. Okay. I'm just using the water to like remove. I really like the way that Where's myself a blank piece of paper. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the next piece of paper that already has stuff on it, because what I like is that I feel like I'm picking up orange. I actually have orange flakes floating in and see, I don't mind if I just take away most of the color out of this, because I'm gonna go back into it. That's my plan at least. So I'm picking up pastel color on my brush and then coming over to, it's like a different style of pigment. Exploring. Very cool exploring. And this is exciting. So I'll have to look at with this when it dries. This where I've transferred it onto this piece of paper. I'm gonna look at that when it dries. So now I've got my space in up here. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. Get the yellow. I'll do this blue. I don't want a hot pink. I don't have one here in front of me. Of course, you know I have one right below me, but oh yeah, because actually I'm going to use this over here too. So this is drying. I'm letting this water dry. Can you see where I took out? I'm gonna let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm coming back over to this one. And I really like, what I really like is just feeling it all. Like really engaging all of my senses. The sound of it, the feeling of it, the way it gets on my fingers. I love this. You'll see in my social feeds this. if that was like, can I take a screenshot? I should. Oh no. That's not right. Not funny. Sorry, guys. screenshot is the top one. There's a screenshot. Oh, thanks for your patience. So see, I really love the difference, the way that this is, and see how you can take the color up. You can really, you can like smudge that into there, but then you can also leave the raw part too. Like this raw, which you can play with. And if you don't like touching it, oh, and see, we've talked about this before too, like you got to watch your hands, because your hands are going to get muddied the more you do this. So if you don't like touching it, or you want to protect your hands, you could always glove to do this, but you're still going to have the same mixing. Use a tool. There's lots of different tools. You can create your own tools. Wipe your hands off. Tissue paper, toilet paper, all the things that Q-tips, little sponge pieces, cotton balls, tissue paper is what a lot of people do. What I don't like about using tissue paper is that, especially when I'm playing, is that your oils of your fingers kind of like embed the charcoal into the material, into the paper more, and it creates a different component, a stickiness of it, whereas the tissue paper is like dusting stuff away, you know, and it's like it collects it. Not that your fingers don't collect it too, but the tissue paper picks it up off of the paper more than I prefer usually. Under paintings, if I'm just doing a little sketch in there, I can always go in with like charcoal, or the vine charcoal even, because it's super light, and you make a little underpainting, and then you can use the tissue paper to kind of drag that underpainting and spread it out a little bit and dust it all the way off. Toilet paper, tissue paper, toilet paper. Different. Dust it off, and you're kind of like clearing your surface, but that underpainting will be it'll still be there, because that charcoal is still going to dip in any of this stuff. Charcoal, pastel, to me, it's all interchangeable. It's not. This is pigmented. Charcoal is natural in most cases. When it's compressed like this, it might be pigmented, depending on your brand and what kind you got there. If you're looking for natural pigmentation, they're called Conti crayons, C-O-N-T. Conti crayons are going to be your naturally pigmented. Where are mine? I wonder where those are. I may have loaned them to a friend. All right, so still doodling. Off on a tangent about pastels. This has been really fun to do this. I want to go back over here to this one that I let dry. So I've got my orange sunset, and now I kind of want to bring in my mountains as a different color. So I took some of that orange away. Can you see how I'm using my charcoal on its side, and I'm kind of butting up to those horizon lines that I created. At this point, it doesn't really feel like I needed the that water line, but I do like the effect. I like what I learned. So see there, I'm just kind of trying to put in, and now I'm gonna let this blue come down a little further. So I've got the sky is going to be orange. And I think this can end up being my sun, and I can do more stuff. And then I'm going to come in down here with these greens and purples and blues and really ground the rest of this, block in the rest of my landscape here. But I'll still have plenty of that glow coming out from the underside of it. I think I'm just going to keep this super simple and not give it a fence or anything. Not a whole lot of detail, at least not at this point. I really like this glowy look that's happening there. So again, I'm kind of tipping back up on the tip of my charcoal, just reflecting on how interesting. I thought I had intentions of going into these watercolors, and I'm completely sidetracked into this. But I really like that. I like that I've allowed that to happen. So thank you for letting me have that. And for rolling with it with me. Hopefully you are also having fun dabbling in your old pieces with a little attention of some sort. I really like the way the greens and oof, that just got so pretty. A little blue even. If I had a dark, oh, the blue is nice in there too. See all these contrasting colors. The eye just loves to see all that contrast. And the true test is not letting it get muddy, you know, and keeping enough of both to help the eye stay engaged. And it's not hard, don't overthink it. But there's a reason that you like purple and yellow together and blue and orange together, and there's a reason that like football teams use them and that we see complementary colors. I mean, they do, they look beautiful together, and it helps. It's like a neutral standpoint for the eye because you have equal parts of, or at least you get close to equal parts of the primary color, so you get to see all of it. Does that make sense? I love it. I don't claim to know much about color theory, but I do love the concept of it and the way that like our brain is kind of always working to hit an equilibrium, maybe. Like we kind of see the whole picture, see all of it. I think that's super cool. And so this orange and blue contrast to our eyes it's fun, it's good, we like it. And all these like hot pink and little Heidi peekaboos that are coming up here. I mean, this is beautiful just as is. And I think that might even wonder if like clouds working. I want to make this sky. Where's that? I don't have a hot pink. I do in another set. Here it is. A hot pink. I tend to break my pastels intentionally. A lot of people like to keep theirs full. I prefer a small, and then you'll notice like I'll have a little nub that I tend to use more of. And the other one just kind of stays put. You do you, of course, but I like having a little bit of a smaller piece that's like a little bit more manageable. I guess I'm just adding some pink up here. I think that's kind of what I'm sitting here doing. I just created ornament. I call it ornament season. As we get into the holidays, I do every year a collection of hand painted ornaments, and I started glittering them today, or yesterday, a couple days ago, and I came up with a new one, and it's so cool and it's so exciting. I'll show it to you guys soon, but now I want more yellow in there. It's like somehow like really give it the sunset. Alpenglow. I don't know. I like the kind of the mix of. That turned out pretty cool. I had a purple. I guess maybe a little bit of this blue. Yeah, I want to be careful there with that blue because if it's too orangey on the blue, then it's going to get that brown that I was talking about. But that gave me a little bit. Back to this pink a little bit. Keep it purpley. That turned out so cool. I don't know what you guys have that you may have done, but that turned out so neat. We're getting close to, and this has transformed a whole lot as well. I never would have guessed that that would have turned into a landscape, this particular one. I don't even remember what it looked like before, but holy cow, that changed a lot. Let's see if I have to see if I can find something. And this one has changed a lot too. I don't know what it's becoming. It's going abstract. You know, and honestly, this is probably considered abstract too. It's an abstract landscape. Landscape. This one is fun. This one is really fun. I'm gonna do for the next, probably have about 10, 15 more minutes. I'm going to come in on this one since we did, well, with these guys. Ooh, that's dark, and I like it. So these are nice and fun. This is kind of greasy would be the word that I would use to describe how these feel. Greasy. Know how far up that. I like the way I can get a little bit of the texture of the paper. See that? How I can get a little texture of the paper. But this greasy feeling now, I haven't touched this yet. And I can see that there's a sheen on it. I don't know if I can get the light to show it for you, but there's a little bit of a sheen on it. So I'm going to treat it like paint in that it's wet. I could test that theory with my brush and see if I can get it to move around. I can a little bit, not a whole lot. I wonder, I do kind of like the softness of it. I'm going to use my squirt bottle and wet it so that I don't have to carry all the water myself in my brush. And now I'm just kind of moving it around. So it's helping to create kind of a darker layer in some places. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not sure how that pumpkin sits behind or in front. I think I keep screwing it up, but whatever. My thought with this was that maybe I could get a frameable enough of a thing to just put up for Halloween, and then, you know, put it away with Halloween decorations, and I can maybe put it up or not next year. That was my thought with this. Since I did get this a little bit wet, I'm putting a little bit of watercolor. Just, this is just there. And I'm gonna darken that a little bit. And this one. And that one. That is the same purple that I used as my layer there. And actually this is the same orange right here too. I have a little bit of that left. I might just even use a little bit of a yellow, a light yellowish orange. I really want to get a little bit of a differentiating shadow here in my, what do you call it? The cut pieces, this little bit of perspective that I stuck in here. I'm not convinced that I did my perspective correctly, but I'm okay with it. Again, this is just something that I want to be good enough for a Halloween decoration for this year, and just to kind of play along with it. Maybe even do it again with my girls. Before Halloween. It's just a little project, so. The meat, is this the meat of the pumpkin? I'm just gonna use the same one over here, even though This is like a darker glow, technically. Just rolling with it. When I say I don't think I've got my perspective right, I think I just kind of made it up as I went, and I wasn't being very exact. And, depending on who you are, I think you can figure out perspective. I don't think I'm ever going to try and teach perspective. Maybe someday I'll get excited about it and learn it legitimately myself, and then I can share wisdom with you. But I think perspective takes practice and patience, and those are two things I don't give myself a whole lot of. Always a work in progress, but I'm gonna roll with it for now. Let's see. I don't like, here's my purple, which is going to be even darker than that blue. Still have some wet spots over here, so let's smush some of that under there. Really dark under here. And then I think I might come in on the top end with this green. It's a little bit, actually, no, I was going to do green. Here's what I'm going to do with green. I'm going to put in more definition on my, your oil pastels might be fun to do this part with. Give them some, not sure how much I like that. I kind of wish I had used my oil pastels, to tell you the truth, because I can get better definition. These are a little bit more fun to like scribble with. And just to try and bleed out this blue a little bit, fill in the rest of my background here. Put the red. I have a white of this. That pink. Oh yeah, there's a white. So this feel like a whole new layer on here. I might even go in with some of this orange along here. So that gives my whole composition just a little bit of unity by bringing the same material, at least a touch, around everywhere. See how I still am letting that other stuff still shine through, so it's clear that there's an underpainting there, but I'm just giving the same texture of that painting, of that material, everywhere. And even with the yellow on the inside here. I wonder about the white. I'm nervous to do it. Yeah, I don't think I like it. So I tried to put white there. I don't think I like it. Maybe this other blue. Maybe even a little water over all that. Colors might mix a little bit more. Again, oil pastels would be fun to do on this as well. Ouch. A little bit of brown. why, but I felt like the brown belonged down here too. Just see what a little bit of water does here. I don't know, water in the temperate doesn't really seem to work all that great. It does give it a little bit of like softness, like they kind of come together a little bit more. One of the women I'm following, she's learning gouache, which is an old school material that not many people know how to use anymore. So I commend her for trying to learn, and I wouldn't have any clue. I'm fascinated by her process. But one of the things that she's learned is like do an underpainting and then spray your underpainting. This is with gouache, not necessarily with what we're playing with here. Spray your underpainting and it kind of just like softens all of your edges nicely. And I feel like these temper paints kind of did that when I sprayed. It's a lot better now. You know, so once this dries, my plan is to, this needs a little, I don't know how do those go together? It's like it needs a tiny little, I don't want to go too far into them, but I just feel like there's some sort of definition that's missing. Maybe outlining it with like a micron pen or a paint marker. I don't know. I always hesitate to do that personally. I'm not exactly sure why. But I do. I hesitate to do that. It just feels so permanent. Maybe that's a part of my completion process that I need to maybe that's what was missing, is some definition here. So I'm using my red, which is kind of a warm red. Put those lines in. That may have helped. I don't know. How's yours look? Honestly, I'd love to see. So send me a picture. Send me a picture so I can see what yours look like. And thank you guys. This was pleasant. We kind of went back into this one. We never did get into this. Maybe next week. I love where this ended up. It'll be interesting to see if I come back into this one again. Paint marker is not going to work, nor is like your felt tip pen going to work very well on top of this chalky substance. So I don't know what we would use on top of this. We could potentially use like some ink, like India ink, and paintbrush. It's just going to dry it out really quickly, but you can always just add more water. But I like where this went. I don't know where it's going. I don't think I'd call this one complete at this point, but it's cool. I love the effects that I got. I love what I learned. It's great to loosen up on. And this one I'm really loving. Oh my gosh. I'm absolutely loving this. So I might try and find a mat to put around this and stick it behind a frame and just see what it looks like. That's one thing that's nice too, as you feel like, as you get to a point where you feel like you are completing things or you want to see how close you are of something completed. Having a frame with a mat that's already cut to this size, my guess is this is 5x7. Yeah. So 5x7, it's a little bit bigger than that, but in general, a 5x7 cut mat is going to fit into a 9x11. A 9x11, because you want about a 2-inch mat around everything. So a 9x11 frame, or even an 11x14 would look cool, but a 9x11 frame, and then you'll have a mat cut. You can usually buy, these are pretty generic sizes. So a 5x7 is this, a mat cut to fit a 9x11 frame, and you just have a generic frame. I'll see what I can do about finding one. I know I have generic frames sitting around here. But I'm really pleased with this, and it's cool to have accomplished it. I really like this part of it right here, because there's some beautiful detail in that. So I don't know about like how I would frame it, if it would be like that, or if I would let it be framed a little bit outside of that, so you can kind of see the underpainting still. I kind of like that, but I don't know, it'll probably end up being framed like this, which is beautiful. And how nice. I mean, that's a nice little gift to give to somebody. And it was fun. It was fun to create. So thank you for creating with me today. And then going back into these, maybe I'll find a frame to put this into. This is 8x10, or maybe even 9x11. I think it's 8x10. No, it's 9x11. So that obviously gets a bigger frame. 9 and 4 is 13, and 11 and 4 is 15. So that's a 14x16 frame. You can have a mat that would fit a 14x16 frame. Add 4 inches to either side, 2 inches, 2 inches. So 4 inches to one diameter or one length, and 4 inches to the other length. And that gives you a generic area for framing. And then you want to go bigger. And then work with a framer, unless you can just buy a generic size frame. That's what's useful about working in generic size paper. Food for thought, especially as we approach the holidays. I hope that maybe some of your pieces are getting toward a completed place, or a place where you're satisfied with their appearance, or with where they have landed. Just finish that little mountain part right there. Yeah. I also hope that all of you guys are doing well. Thanks for creating with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.